live from North Ipswich Reserve. We're with you for a fantastic round 10 clash between the Central Queensland Capras and the luxury paints Ipswich Jets. Great to have you with us on Phoenix Radio, phoenix.com.au. Smith somehow right down the instant touchline, 12-4 the score. Well, the first attacking opportunity the Capras had.
Hello and welcome to another edition of After the 80, where we bring you all the up-to-date local rugby league news. As always, I'm your host Ben Wilmott, and joining me today on the panel is my co-host Anthony Bomber Breeze. Welcome, Bomber.
Welcome, Ben. Big weekend of football, rep football, love it.
Oh, it was a great week all around, wasn't it? And joining us on the panel today, we have Francis Renouf from the Ipswich Jets.
How you going, Ben?
Thanks for coming on board. And joining us again for the second week in a row, we've got Lee Addison from the Ipswich Rugby League State School.
Glad to be back, thank you.
Excellent. And your second role is obviously the Ipswich Diggers head coach, and a great result for you this weekend, winning the Chairman's Challenge.
It was a fantastic weekend. It just clicked from goal to goal. It was fantastic. Really proud of everyone involved, staff, players, committee, everyone.
For those who don't know, it was the first time it was the Ipswich Diggers won the whole competition, and they started off in great form with a great win over the Gold Coast to kick it off.
Yeah, couldn't believe our luck in many ways. We just started like a dream, and it almost feels surreal. It just clicked. It just clicked from the first minute. Like I said, I think we scored in the first 3 minutes of the game, and then it just came like an avalanche. And I think the Gold Coast got in the dressing rooms at half time and went and caught up with themselves, and then they hit back in the second half, and then it was game on for a while, but yeah, we went up another gear.
Well, we've got a bit of footage from that first half of the Gold Coast game where I think you piled on about 5 tries in the first 40 minutes.
Yeah, we did a Mika here, Mika Arabiti with the goal. His sharp shooting with the boot was fantastic. Chris Ash really guided the team around. He really was the heartbeat of the team. You'll see the backup play in a moment. That's Matt Brown, the second rower. Ashy backs him up and gives it to Brendan Marshall, who has wanted to play for the Diggers for several years since retiring from the Jets, and he was injured last year, so that meant a lot to him. I think from memory, Mika slots this goal over too. As you can see, they're all wide as well, the goals, because we move the ball around.
And you don't make it easy for the kicker.
No. And he did actually miss one, and I was quite shocked when he did.
This is a great try from a line out as well. Great strong running from a back rower.
Yeah, that was Lockie Rowe. Used to be a centre, I believe, so he sort of has the characteristics of both a back rower and a centre. And he kept asking during the second game, could he go into the centre? And there's a bit of back and forth between my trainers. You can see Mika misses one here, and I'm there in my hoodie, disgusted that he missed a goal, you know. Only joking, he was fantastic. Look at the line movement again, and this is the full-back Ono. I pronounced it oh no, because the opposition literally went oh no every time he got the ball. He was fantastic. We actually took him off the field early in the second half just to preserve him for the Sunday. This is Max Fesselai with a hit up, and that just shows you how dominant we were. That's one of our players on the wing there, running like a prop forward.
Definitely. And it was the first time that we had the BRL players come in. It was a bit of a 50-50 split between the IRL and the Ipswich Jets. That was some pretty typical Jets style of running there.
Yeah, it's you know, just typical sort of play, and I think a lot of the local boys can identify and pick that sort of play up as well, because the local leagues in the same sort of fashion.
Yeah, they picked it up very quickly, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. I think, and as well, I think the BRL boys really enjoyed the experience of getting the opportunity to go back and play for the Diggers, you know, as a representative jersey, and also representing the community as well.
For Chris Ash as well, named captain. He's the captain of the BRL side, but he's born and bred Ipswich local. It seemed to mean a lot to him to get that Diggers representative. Yeah,
it always does. Representative jersey is always good, especially for your hometown. And then also it's just a testament to sort of, you know, where they are winning the BRL last year also, and then undefeated this year as well. So it's congratulations to the boys that played in it, and I think they really enjoyed the experience.
And as someone from the Ipswich IRL, you were very happy to see them get the win as well?
Yeah, it's been a while. Like this Chairman's Challenge has been going for, I think, about 9 years now, and we had one chance of winning it there where we lost in differential. The other years, we've had some very hard years against Gold Coast, and the last time we actually ever won something was 1997, so it's been a long time between drinks, but very good that the Jets and the IRL boys could all come come together. You've seen it at train, and last year there's a little bit of mucking around. This year with the Jets boys involved, a lot more professional, and they definitely got the results done. By half time, both games were basically over.
Was it good to see the kind of the politics between the IRL and the Jets kind of put to rest for the weekend and see what they could do when they combine together?
Yeah, well, that's it. If you've got two parties on the same page, it always makes it a lot easier there. Like I said, if everything's sorted off the field there, you leave it to the coaches there to sort the players out. The Diggers boys and the Jets boys combined well from the local comp, and off the field there, you see them during the dressing sheds there, they're laughing and carrying on, and dancing and all that together. Some of them have only met each other in the last 2 weeks, so it was very good.
I think we actually have one of the funnier moments from the Gold Coast game as well. Even when they managed to score some points against the Diggers, it didn't go all their way. It was a bit of a friendly fire there.
That was a tactic there. We asked him to do that when he scored a try. Obviously anything to get an advantage over the opposition.
Well, it didn't seem like you needed too many advantages on the weekend. The scoreline against Brisbane was pretty resounding.
Yeah, it was, and I just want to bring attention to the USB that are brought in this week. This is what the footage came off, and the Force was definitely with us. This is a stormtrooper from Star Wars, and
it's May the 4th.
I've been ribbed backstage, back studio for that, so I thought I'd bring him on and say hello to us all.
Excellent. So were you surprised by that, the scoreline? It seemed like at half time in both games you really were leading by a strong margin by half time in both those games. Was that kind of the game plan, to come out firing and then put them to bed in the first 40 minutes?
It was surprising, because I think it's a coach's job to be somewhat paranoid. You've got to look for all the dangers in an opposition and not necessarily convey them all to the players, but you've got to prepare them subconsciously throughout your training week. So I didn't expect us to be up by 30 points in both games. I expected 10-0, 10-6. It was a real shock, and it just changes the whole complexion of the whole thing.
Excellent. Well, up next we'll be talking about the South East Queensland representative team, which was picked from those 3 games on the weekend, and we'll also be talking about the Broncos Cup Schools competition, all that and a lot more on After the 80. Welcome back to After the 80. On Tuesday, the South East Queensland representative team was announced, and there seems to be a few familiar faces there from the Ipswich Diggers. Bomber, you were part of the selection process. Were you happy to see some of our Ipswich players making a name in there?
Yeah, well, after 2 comprehensive results there, I went into the meeting there thinking that I could get the whole 13 into the side.
How many did we get in there in the end?
We ended up getting 12 in, so and the 13th players on standby there. So 12 players there, 6 from the local comp, 6 from the Jets there. So it obviously made our boys move up to that next level, and congratulations to them all.
Helps when you're playing in a dominant team to shine, doesn't it?
Well, it certainly does. If the forwards are going forward there, they lay the platform, and then the backs, Ashley and them got the ball out wide to Ono and Monkey and Ray Bearer and all that there, and they just carved up out wide. So. Yeah. And good to see an equal mix of the Jets boys and the IRL coming into it. Yeah, no, well, that's the big thing to come out of it there. Everyone thought, well, it'd just be all the Jets boys. They'd be doing all the score and all the hard tackle, but the ones playing in the IRL competition, they stood up as well. So very happy with the way it worked. So. And Lee, happy to see your team getting the next level up after that win? Absolutely, and it's only going to help the SEQ team. I'm also happy that so many IRL boys got in. It was a 50-50 split all the way through the squad and then the SEQ squad as well, which shows that they are up to that standard. Yep. Francis, you're part of both the Jets and the playing for the Swifts Bluebirds on the weekends as well, so you've got a good eye for both competitions. So you're happy to see a good representation from both? Yeah, absolutely. Like, the results sort of speak for themselves, and they need to be, have the dominance of the whole side. Yep.
I think you get the experience of, you got Monkey there and also Max, who have been in the jet system before as well, and they bring a lot of experience to that side.
Yep.
So that's a lot of, a few level heads, as well as the BRL boys, and the style of football they play is very exciting.
Well, Lee, other than your Ipswich Diggers head coach role, you've also got a big role in the Ipswich State High School, playing for the schools competition. How's everything been going so far this year? I understand you're in the top tier competition this year for the second year.
Yeah, it's our second season. We made quite a big, quick rise to the top. 3 years ago we were playing local league, and now we're in the South East Queensland top six, so it's fantastic. And so are all our lower grades as well, which is great for the school and great profile.
Great for the feeders to come into the IRL and into the Jets as well, to have those kind of players coming through the ranks.
Absolutely, and don't forget, it's not just our school. We've got Redbank Plains, who are in the tier below us, alongside St Peter Claver, and the three of us played a pre-season competition, as you would know, with the QT Cup.
Yep.
And there's a great rivalry there too. So the schools rugby league is thriving. I think everything in Ipswich Rugby League at the minute seems to be thriving, which is great to be part of.
Definitely. And how do you think the Broncos Cup competition that you're part of as well really prepares those players for that top level kind of competition?
The best bit of advice I can give you on this is that the referees in Ipswich in particular were very shocked by the standard. The players are saying that it's the toughest football they've played, and they include Mal Meninga, Cyril Connell games. If you think about Keebra Park, Wavell, ourselves, Palm Beach, we're basically a conglomerate of very various rep sides, CC and MM sides. So it's real tough football.
As you said, with the Cyril Connell and the Mal Meninga now over, those representative players come back into all the schools competitions. Is that going to make your task a little bit harder moving forward?
Well, certainly the first two rounds we played, Palm Beach and Keebra, they had all their representative players played. So I think what it makes it easier in a sense that the injuries and the turnaround between games is a lot easier to manage.
Yep.
So that'll be interesting. It just adds another dynamic again to the competition. It's fantastic.
And it does allow those players to train with the team during the week a lot more, doesn't it? Not having to split their time amongst.
Absolutely. I think sometimes we do forget that they are kids, and they do need time to be kids as well in their own time. And you can just sense the ease of pressure around the rep players at the school too.
Yep. I know with the Ipswich program through Chris Fullerton as well, he talked a lot about trying to balance the workload for the players. Obviously, these kids can be playing club, school, Mal Meninga, Cyril Connell all at once. So is it a tough job kind of trying to balance that?
Well, I coached in Sydney for 6 years, and it felt that the clubs dictated downwards from there, whereas here in Queensland, and I'll use Ipswich as an example, Chris and the staff at the Ipswich Diggers just train on a Tuesday and a Thursday, and they left the weight training to us. So it was actually far easier to manage. So hats off to Chris, the Jets, the Diggers, for everything that happens there, because it's definitely for the welfare of the player.
Yeah. Well, we had some big games on the weekend. Obviously, it was the representative round, so we had a break from the NRL, but we had some great games with the Australia-New Zealand Test kicking everything off on the Friday night. Bit of a resounding win for Australia.
Yeah, well, it was, out of all them games in there, Australia-New Zealand game was probably the most lacklustre. The Aussies probably looked like they had the game won for probably most of the day. A 16-0 scoreline doesn't really indicate that there was much in it. Unfortunately, Sammy, it's about 5th minute into the game there, bit of a push.
Not a great debut in the green and gold.
10 minutes in the sin bin after 5 minutes, I suppose. So,
Didn't seem to trouble them too much, though.
No, they seem to grind away. The Australians' defence, they always look at defence wins games, and it always does. And
do you think that had something to do with the players New Zealand were missing as well?
Yeah, well, like I said, I think most people thought we were going to really give them a hammering without Roger Tuivasa-Sheck and Kieran Foran, Warrior Hargraves,
Isaac Luke,
Sean Kenny Dow. There's
the list is huge,
five world-class players there, and we probably had most of ours, but a win's a win. So.
Well, I think probably the more exciting games from the weekend, for my mind, was the Pacific Islands Test. A lot of feeling and a very close game with the PNG here.
Yeah, well, this PNG game, this was their first win in 16 years outside of PNG, and look at them how they celebrate.
We had a former Ipswich Jet in there with Rod Griffin. It's good to see the old fella getting in there.
Yeah, definitely. Rod Griffin and Luke Page both playing for PNG. So, look, you can just see how much excitement, rugby league brings to these islands, and they show it on the field and in the crowds. And how big they are, how big the game is in their islands.
Definitely. Well, we had Brisbane Broncos Joe Offengowie, who's Ipswich resident as well. He's come through the school's competition. He's done very well for himself, hasn't he?
He was a St Peter Claver.
Yes, he was. Yeah.
Student about 4 or 5 years ago, I think.
Yeah.
Well, Anthony Milford was there with him that year too. So
That'd have been tough coaching against those.
Well, we also had the Samoa-Tonga match, which Joe Offengowie was playing for Tonga there. He's going to have some big shoes to fill during the Origin period. Do you think he'd be stepping up into the lock role where he played for Tonga?
I'm not sure, to be honest. I think there's quite a fair bit of competition for places in both Origin sides, as we discussed off air earlier. Going back to this game, I just think these games are the future of the sport, particularly at international level. 10 years until Samoa win a World Cup or Tonga win a World Cup. 10, 20 years is my prediction.
Now, one of the representative games that was a little bit closer to home was the Queensland and New South Wales residents representative round, and it was a little bit of a disappointing result for Queensland. They'd won it the last 3 years and kind of were expecting to come back in and win it again.
yeah, New South Wales got off to a quick start, got to the lead. Queensland fought back a bit, but obviously New South Wales coming to play and got the points with a good victory there. So.
And the other New South Wales game there on the weekend was the City versus Country. Probably we're expecting Country to probably take that one home, but it was a good result for City.
I thought the scoreline there, the 30 and the 44, just shows. I mean, we spoke last week about how it's maybe slipping in significance. There's not much defence happened in that game. I don't think. I didn't watch the game. As I said, I wasn't going to tune in. So.
Do you think there was any changes to Laurie Daly's selections coming out of that City Country game?
I don't know. I don't think he would have taken too much out of that. So.
You'd be putting Aaron Gray in if you were. He scored 4 tries in that game. If that was a selection game.
Well, he put his hand up there, and a couple others did too. Bryce Cartwright and them. So I'm sure he'll be in the plan somewhere. So, but just another result that we didn't have up there was the ladies' Test match, the Gillaroos and the Kiwis. That was a great anyone
game.
Who watched that the girls don't go out there and just pussyfoot around. There's some big hits there, and congratulations to New Zealand. They got over the top of us. So.
Yeah. Well, coming up after the break, we're going to be previewing all the action to come this weekend with the Intrust Super Cup and the Ipswich Rugby League here on After the 80. Welcome back to After the 80. Well, after most of the boys had the weekend off for the representative round, those who weren't playing will have rested up over the week's break, and we've got the Intrust Super Cup coming back this week, and we've got the Ipswich Jets hosting their first of 3 home games this weekend, and I understand you're kicking it off with the Ladies' Day on Saturday?
Yeah, we've got the Ladies' Day happening, so there'll be a day of indulgence. That's the Jets are hosting, and also honouring some of the contributions some of the ladies have done for the Ipswich Rugby League.
Yep, another part of your community engagement as well. I understand you had the domestic violence walk during the week as well.
Yeah, and the boys will be wearing purple jerseys to help raise some money for DV Connect as well. So that's part of the community engagement that the Ipswich Jets are always happy to be a part of.
Yeah, well, it'll be a big game as well. I understand that you've got the BRL Colts and Intrust Super Cup all playing on the same day, so it's good to get the trifecta going. Definitely,
and hopefully get a good crowd out there to watch it as well.
Excellent, and we've so it's going to be a tough game for you straight away as well. We've got the Burleigh Bears at home. That's going to be a tough task for you.
Burleigh's been going really good this year. They've got a massive forward pack, and we actually need to win. We're probably 2 wins out of the 8, and then. If we have to win, otherwise we'll start dropping out of the finals contention.
Yep. Do you think that week off will help the Walkers prepare for this week as well?
Definitely. Well, we had a few injuries, so hopefully the boys are rested up, and Nemani Velikapa, with his experience playing the Queensland residents on the weekend too, hopefully brings back some spark.
Yeah. Well, we've got all the rounds up on the screen at the moment, so there's some big games coming up as well. The Black Hawks taking on the Capras. That'll be another one for the Black Hawks to try and stay on top.
hopefully, so Capras are going well. They're the surprise packet, actually, so
No worries.
hopefully they win.
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's going to be good to have the 3 home games in a row as well to get a bit of a roll on for the Jets.
Yeah, absolutely, and hopefully we get a bit of a spark, and also we'll finish off with we've got East next week, and then also finish off with the Harmony Day against PNG, which is always a massive.
Yeah, definitely. Well, you've got a few PNGs in the team as well. They'll be looking forward to that one.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely.
Excellent. Well, any interesting results for you guys so far in the Intrust Super Cup? You're pretty happy to see the Black Hawks and the Hunters sitting there on top? You think they'll hold their position?
Well, I think before the season started, everyone knew the Black Hawks are going to be up there, and PNG, they're always going to be up there. They've got thousands and thousands coming through over there. It's a national sport there, so they're always going to be on the top. The Jets probably been a little bit disappointing. They've been in most of the games there, just a little bit at the end. So, but never write them off.
Do you think the Hunters will be a little bit tired after having all their players in the representative round? They had, I think, 10 players from the team in there, so they'll be running on tired legs after that.
Quite possibly, although if you ask most players, they'd rather just play than train. So if they're playing every week, they're just ticking over like a car doing kilometres on the road constantly, you know. So could work for or against, depending on injuries.
Definitely. Well, we've also got the Ipswich Rugby League on this weekend after a week's break, and some big matches. We've got Francis. You're in the Swifts team at the moment. You've made your return to the first grade. How does it feel to be back in there?
Yeah, it's pretty good, and we're going along all right at the moment. You know, so we flew under the radar, I think, at the start of the year. Now
I think that's over now.
It's over now. So sitting tie on top. But we're coming up against a West End side this weekend that's only just lost most of their games. So you know, we're in for a tough match.
Definitely. Were you surprised by Goodner as well last week? They went out there with big Zach Lemberg, without him, sorry, and still got the win. He must have been really happy to see that on the sidelines.
Yeah, he would have been. You know, with the Ipswich comp, like, if you can hold sides to under 20 points, you'll win. You know, 90% of your games, I think. That's probably the biggest thing. Every side can score points, but it's a matter of who can defend the best, I reckon. And you know, he would have been really happy to see keep brothers to under 20 points.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think defence needs to come into the IRL a little bit more? We've seen some pretty big scores so far this year.
Yeah, some games have been like that there. But I think once one team gets on a roll, I think they tend to relax a little bit, and then the other team seems to hit back, and then it seems to go try for try. And like Frano said earlier, if you can keep a team under 20 points there, that gets you going there, and then obviously if you can put a few points on and if you get far enough ahead there, you seem to be right. So,
Well, Lee, you've been analysing the IRL games in your selections for the Diggers. What have you been making of the two front runners at the moment with Swifts and Goodner taking the top?
I think it's anybody's comp. I honestly do. I think having coached in the IRL before, each team has a peak and a trough throughout the year, and I think it just depends who peaks at the right time. Francis, may the force be with you this weekend. It brought me a lot of luck last week, so that's yours for this weekend with all your games.
Excellent.
Thanks, mate. And if people get out to Swiss this weekend, we may have a surprise new signing, so jump out and have a look.
Oh, really?
I won't say who he is just yet, but he's a pretty good player.
Is this an exclusive?
Parramatta are offloading players. It could be a Parramatta.
Yeah, if you sign Nathan Peets from the Parramatta Eagles, possibly.
No, he's probably just as good, I think.
Well, there you have it. There's an exclusive on After the 80 for you for this weekend. So have to get down to Are you playing at home at Perga?
Yes, it is. We're playing at home, so
excellent.
3 o'clock on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, the home ground seemed to do you a good service last game against North. So
yeah,
hoping again.
Helped us. Yeah, it was really good. So hopefully we can put in another performance like that.
And I think we've got Goodner taking on North this week. Do you think they can do the double and take out both of the grand finalists from last year?
Toss a coin. See what comes down. Honestly, it depends on how many weddings there are that week, or christenings or something like that on each team, and if there's a Bucks party or something like that, or if there's injuries after rep weekend. It really is an open competition, and I wouldn't be surprised to see it all flip over in the next round of matches.
And just quickly, Bomber, which game are you keeping an eye on this weekend?
I think the North game, the North Goodner game. I was at the North game last week when Swifts touched them up there. I think they're going to hit back hard there. I was at the Goodner game as well, and they were awesome too. So on form, goodness should touch them up, but I'm sure that's not going to be happening. It's a home game for North there, and I'm sure they're not going to want to lose two on the trot at home. So.
Well, we've had a late change, so all games will be on Sunday this weekend, so it'll be a very big day for Ipswich Rugby League, that's for sure. Well, unfortunately, that's all the time that we have at the moment. I'm Ben Wilmott, and I'd like to thank all my guests for coming on board. Lee Addison from the Ipswich State High School, Francis Renouf from the Ipswich Jets, and Anthony Bomber Breeze from the Ipswich Rugby League.
No worries, Ben.
Thanks for coming on board, guys. Thanks very much for joining us this week. That's all from us at After the 80.